Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Arctic Pop Show. I'm your host, Dr. Ghost, and I am back. I took a little time off from Magic, but looking forward to start playing a little bit again. I noticed while looking through my decks that I have not brought you Acid Trip before, so that is the deck that we're going to be focusing on today. What Acid Trip is, it's basically the Reality Acid shenanigans. I just noticed I have the card window open, or preview window open, because I'm smart. So, even that guy thinks so. Or girl. So, the main point of this deck is to play Reality Acid on things, usually your opponent's lands, and then to return it with Core Skyfisher and Dreamstalker. Because it says when Reality Acid leaves the battlefield, enchant permanent's controller sacrifice it. So you're returning it to your hand, it's left the battlefield, so your opponent has to sacrifice whatever permanent it's put on. It is a very slow and grindy deck. It's not the greatest. It's certainly underpowered compared to a lot of other decks, but it does get the job done, and I can also see that some of my changes were not saved a few days ago. Thank you, Magic Online. Appreciate that. So I guess I'll just do this live. Because Magic Online's great. We all accept it for what it is. And Radiant Fountain. Okay. So, starting off with the mana base, you have 8 dual lands comprised of Tranquil Cove and Azorius Chancery. The reason why you play Chancery in this deck over something like a Guildgate is because you want to return Bajuka Bog, Polluted Mire, Cabrera Crossroads, Radiant Fountain, even Tranquil Cove to gain another life, etc. That's why. And then, of course, Tranquil Cove is the strictly better dual land because it gains you a life when it comes into play. The little tech that I've been testing for a little bit, it's been pretty good, has been 1 Bajuka Bog, 1 Mortuary Mire. There is no use for any black mana in the deck. There are no black cards. It's just a straight-up blue-white deck. But Mortuary Mire being able to return one of your creatures and the graveyard, being able to remove the graveyard with Bajuka Bog has been quite nice. I can definitely see taking out the Bajuka Bog for maybe like one of the cycle lands or just going down to 21 lands in general, but so far the Bajuka Bog has been okay. You have 7 basics. You have 4 islands, 3 plains. It's pretty explanatory. 2 Cabrera Crossroads to gain some life, and also it's another white source. You have 2 Quicksand to try to help you against aggro decks in a little pinch. And 1 Radiant Fountain as another way to gain 2 life, but it comes into play untapped as where Cabrera Crossroads does not, so that can actually make a big difference. That's the mana base. Looking at the main deck, the only one drop in the deck is Preordain. Ponder could also work in this deck, but I prefer Preordain because a lot of times you do have a lot of cards in the matchups that are really bad and you want to push them to the bottom. So that's why. Ponder could also be very good in this deck to dig, the extra card deep. And to set up your draws, because this deck is a lot about sequencing, but for now I've been testing with Preordain, it's been a lot better. Your removal at 2 mana is Journey to Nowhere, and you also have Crystallization. Now the reason you have Crystallization is because not only is it removal, but it's also an aura that you can fetch with Heliod's Pilgrim. That's the reason for that. The 2-drop creatures you have are Core Skyfisher and Dreamstalker. Core Skyfisher being, your big good creature, your big win con, and then Dreamstalker being your big wall that also returns Reality Acid. Cool part is in this deck you have a lot of shenanigans. You can return the Mole Drifters, you can return the Faith's Fetters, you can reset the Serrated Arrows, you can do a lot of things, which is cool. You also have Lone Missionary to help you out against the aggro decks, but you can also go on the beatdowns with it. You have a couple Momentary Blink to have some extra combos. And then you, looking at the 3-drop slot, you have 2 Heliod's Pilgrim to go tutor for your Reality Acid or your Crystallization. You cannot tutor for Journey because it's not an aura. This card only says search a library for an aura card. It does not say enchantment card, so do keep that in mind. Then, of course, you have the namesake of the deck, Reality Acid. 3 Seagate Oracle as a good wall and a way to draw cards. 1 Serried Arrows, because 1 Serried Arrows is pretty good in this deck with all the ways to reset it. 4 mana, it's a little pricey, so you don't really need multiples of them. You could go up to 2, I would understand that, but for now I'm sticking with 1. 2 Faith's Fetters as a way to deal with something and gain 4 life. And then 4 Mole Drifter because it's Mole Drifter. Now, this deck throughout Pauper's history that it's been around has gone through many changes. It used to play more counter spells. It used to play more bounce spells. This deck pretty much is built to beat mid-range and aggro, while you accept that your control matchups suck. Your teaching matchup sucks. Your Tron matchup is really not that good, because most of the Tron decks these days do not really rely on Tron all that much. You're not really going to see Negashane's mono green Tron deck as much as you're going to see the usual Dinrova Tron deck. So, your mono black matchup also, if you run into it, it's not great. It doesn't suck as much as Teachings. Teachings is pretty much your worst matchup. Delver's not great either, but you can actually beat Delver. It's just really uber difficult, so take that for what you will. Looking over at the sideboard, you have 2 Sunlance as extra removal, 2 Circle Protection Green against any of the green aggro decks, because all the green aggro decks, the Reality Acid plan isn't really that stellar, so Copper Green helps there. Circle Protection Red is really for burn. Your burn matchup's not great, so that's really what it's there for, but it can also be good against the Nevik Cyclop decks. 3 Disenchants against any Curse the Bloody Tomes or Affinity matchups you may face. I feel like this card's a bit better than Dust to Dust because it also destroys enchantments, so it helps against Boggles. Boggles being another thing that Circle Protection Green helps. Boggles is actually not that bad of a matchup for this deck. The problem is that to beat Boggles, you're a little slow at it. So, just gotta keep that in mind. 3 Dispels against any counterspell decks. 2 Curse the Bloody Tome against any deck that can't really remove it, such as Blue-Black Teachings and whatnot. And then 1 Relic Progenitus, just in case. So that is the deck. There isn't really much else to it. I'm going to run it through a couple test matches, see how we do. And then we'll come back, we'll see how we did, and we'll talk about it. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I hope you look forward to the matchups. I will see you soon.